Hi, this is Mike Spivey with the Spivey Consulting Group. It's Wednesday, March 18th. I wanted to do a very brief podcast. The reason being I've had the good fortune to be able to talk to a number of people over the last few days. We had opened that up on Reddit, and I've talked to about, 20 to 30 people. I know there's a lot of anxiety out there, and what I wanted to do is, it's hard to obviously for anyone, let alone a firm with no medical experience, address the extent to the pandemic as far as how long it's going to last. So it's hard for me to talk about that other than to say that for the time being, I would plan on schools, not being able to visit schools. My best guess is that the April LSAT is not going to occur, but that's just a guess. And LSAC is rightfully holding off on making any conclusions as we watch this thing develop. What I do want to talk about is, again, very briefly, I think that this summer we will see, I would posit that as the summer moves on and the pandemic likely sticks around we have different timelines, but 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, what you're going to see is admissions offices being more lenient with seat deposit deadlines. I think that they will come up with creative ways to get to know applicants, particularly admitted applicants, via admissions, Zoom, Skype, tele-interviews. I think it's more than appropriate if you're an applicant and you haven't been able to visit schools to reach out to schools and say, can I speak to a student at your school? If you're from Texas and you're looking at a school in Connecticut, would it be possible to speak to one of your students from out of state so I can get a feeling for what it's like to be an out-of-state applicant who might matriculate to your school? All the things that you might have been able to do on a visit, people you might have been able to talk to, faculty, students, I think that it's more than appropriate to politely ask if that's possible. And again, as the summer progresses, we're going to see law schools start coming up with more creative ways than I can right now to let you virtually speak with people, virtually visit, etc. So I think what we will see on that side of things is lenience. I suspect, I posted some numbers on Twitter at our Spivey Consult Twitter account about how March LSAT last year seems to have caused about a 2,000 applicant surge in that cycle. There also appear to have been 7,300 retakers. I'm going to guess, based on 20 years of doing this, the vast majority of those retakers were testing for that cycle. It's not comparable because there's a larger number of tests this year, but if you knock out this year's March applicant numbers, and if you potentially knock out the April applicant numbers, how are law schools going to react? Well, they're going to do one of two things. There will be an even larger June test, and they will wait on June scores unlike ever before, or you will see a shift in waitlist movement occurring sooner rather than later. I don't know which of those two things will happen, but at least one of those two things will happen if we lose both March and April. And I suspect we will. And then I suspect we will possibly see both. I would particularly look for if LSAC cancels the April LSAT, a sort of rush of waves after that, and then many, many more schools, potentially almost every school, except for maybe the schools at the highest bandwidths because they have a surplus right now in LSAT scores, looking to take June test scores. That's my update. It's short. I hope it's helpful. We will continue to update via blog, Twitter, and podcasts. I hope this was helpful.